So what is the E-mini S&P 500? You may have traded it, you may have heard of it, but really, where does it come from? What's its history? That's what this video is about. If you go to our website, DayTradeToWin.com, you'll probably notice that most of our courses and software focus on the E-mini S&P 500. Yes, they work with other markets, other instruments, as they're sometimes called, but if you go to our courses and software page, you'll see that, yes, the E-mini is the preferred market, and there's a reason for that. And it has price patterns that tend to appear more often in our observation than in other markets, so this can make it more tradable. But let's get back to the basics. So how do you write E-mini S&P 500? Well, typically it's like this. And many traders will simply refer to the E-mini S&P 500 as just the E-mini. And if you've noticed, we have here S&P 500. You may have seen the S&P 500 on a news ticker. Maybe you've heard about it on television. And there's a reason for that. The S&P in E-mini S&P 500 refers to Standard & Poor's, or at least it once did. These days, the company is known as S&P Global Ratings. This happens to be their website. But what the S&P 500 represents remains the same, well, at least for the most part. This is the S&P Global website here, and they describe their S&P 500 as a widely regarded single gauge of large cap U.S. equities. Well, what does that mean? That means that the S&P 500 is composed of U.S. companies. In fact, this index includes 500 leading U.S. companies and covers approximately 80% of available market capitalization. Well, so what are those companies? The S&P companies by weight will give us a measurement of what the top companies are, the percentage of market share for each. And at the top of the list, Apple, followed by Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, parent company of Google, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, and so on. Note that Meta, or Facebook as it was once called, is now sitting in position 11. Back in 2018 or so, Facebook was among the top according to this graph here. You may have noticed that big tech makes up the top 5. You may find that interesting because the S&P 500 is considered a leading indicator of the U.S. economy. So how can 5 tech stocks be an indicator of the U.S. economy? Well, maybe that's a discussion for a different video. But in any case, the S&P 500 is a big deal. It's considered to be one measure of overall U.S. economic performance. Now that we have a sense of the S&P 500, we can ask, well, what is the E-mini? That is answered here. With ES or E-mini futures, you can take positions on the S&P 500 performance electronically. You are trading the S&P 500, but in a more cost-effective way, which is another way to say a more affordable way and a more accessible way, because you would use a trading platform like this. This is a live real-time chart, and that means we have data coming into the platform, much like a trader would see if they were at home and placing trades and looking at the market if they had a live funded account. Right now we're using the Sim 101 account within the NinjaTrader trading platform. We can see that we have a bunch of activity here in the Superdome window. This Superdome window allows you to place different types of orders. Basically, you can buy and sell by using the market buttons here at the bottom. This would place in this column here, the buy column, a buy market order, and we would have a sell market order if we clicked on that, and we'd see that represented on the chart as well. So we would be buying and selling. We have the current price here at about 38.57 quarter. This is going to fluctuate and move around. We also have an indicator working here, the Atlas line from our website, DayTradeToWin.com, which is telling us the market is expected to go short around this area, and sure enough, price did drop. So this was a good signal, just like this one here, this long signal, and price went up soon after that. You can confirm what market you're looking at by going to the top left of the chart. You'll notice that it says ES 0922. That means E-mini S&P 500 0922. And if you're ever in doubt of the market, or you want to look up the abbreviation for a market or an instrument as they're called in this platform, delete what's there and then type in what you want. So if we type in E-mini, you will see that E-mini S&P 500 futures is abbreviated as ES, which brings us to another point. In learning about the E-mini so far, we have found out that the abbreviation or the ticker symbol is ES. The exchange or the overseeing organization where the E-mini is created and maintained is the CME Group. More on that in a moment. They classify the E-mini as a US equity index future. So if you can pay attention closely, I'll explain what's going on. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are using the NinjaTrader 8 trading platform. We are connected to a live data feed that's in simulated mode, so we're getting real-time quotes streaming into the platform that power the charts with live E-mini S&P 500 data. Essentially, that data comes from the exchange, but there's a vast computer network that helps in delivering this data. Now, if you were to trade with real money, you would have your account connection here under this connections area, and you would be connected to that account. That way, when you place a trade, buy or sell, for example, your profit or your loss would get applied to your trading account, and that gets set up with a broker. So in the case of NinjaTrader, we have the software platform, which is this right here. This is the main control center where you can launch charts and do a number of things. And then there is the broker who gets established within the connections area. Let's get you a visual on that. This is the NinjaTrader website where you can get access to the platform, and this is basically for their trading software. They have a separate website for their brokerage division. This is their brokerage site. Again, you don't need to trade with real money until you're comfortable with practicing, and at DayTradeToWin, we can certainly help you with practice. You can go to our website, DayTradeToWin.com, and then use this form, type your email, click Let Me In, and then we will give you access to the members area, which has a bunch of helpful content that can get you started. Earlier in this video, you saw this same page. This is the E-mini S&P 500 main information page, as I would call it, because it's from the official source, the CME Group. Their main headquarters is in Chicago. This building here was completed in 1987 and contains 40 floors. Back to the chart. If you're doing this kind of trading, you would be considered a retail trader. It can be said that three types of traders exist. Retail traders, and then we have institutional traders. So these are people who trade for organizations such as banks or companies. There are also trading algorithms or trading software. These are non-human traders who place orders just like the other two, but generally do so at a much faster rate beyond what a regular person can do. All traders have the same goal: maximize profit and minimize risk. Now that you understand the E-mini in present day, the history should make more sense. The 1800s were a time of activity, with the CBOT, the Chicago Board of Trade, a predecessor to CME Group, creating the world's first futures exchange based in Chicago. Soon after that, we can see the beginnings of the first ever futures contract. From there, we have more development occurring with the world's first futures clearing operation being established. And then further evolution in terms of the physical requirements of trading, an octagonal futures trading pit and a new building. Another predecessor of the CME Group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, opened in 1898. The 1900s were a period of expansion once again, with new commodities being supported. The 1970s, 80s, and 90s are marked by further expansion into financial products. In 2007, CME and CBOT officially merged to form CME Group. For 15 years, from 1982 to 1997, the US stock market went up, essentially. This was called the Great Bull Market. Of course, this meant the S&P 500 went along with it, and in doing so, priced out a lot of traders. A lot of traders could no longer afford to trade the S&P 500. To accommodate accessibility and tradability, the E-mini S&P 500 was established. The E-mini was considered, and still is, a minified, less costly version of the big S&P 500. In just 3 years, the E-mini grew to 80,000 contracts from the 7,000 it started with. By 2018, 2 million. In 2019, the E-mini was made more accessible once again. The micro E-mini futures were introduced, and each tick is 1/10 the size of the classic E-minis. So instead of each tick being worth $12.50, we see 1/10 the size, $1.25 per tick. The abbreviations for these markets follow a similar format. You can expect the micro E-mini to be MES instead of just ES. And yes, this is supported in NinjaTrader and many other platforms. Here we have two charts, the regular E-mini on the top and the micro E-mini on the bottom. You will see that both of the charts are pretty much identical. Even the signals are the same from the DayTradeToWin Trade Scalper system. For example, you have a 38.46.5 signal to go short. That means sell the market about here and about here, lining up perfectly, but a small discrepancy here in terms of just one tick or 0.25. The overall movement of the candles is very much the same, as is the current plotting price at around 38.20 for both. The E-mini and the micro are both right in line with the S&P 500. There should be no surprise there, although the S&P 500 as provided by Google is going to be delayed by several minutes, usually about 10 to 15, whereas the price movement on the chart is generally considered real time. All of us at DayTradeToWin thank you for watching this video. We hope that you found it informative. If you'd like to watch more videos like this, make sure you subscribe.
If you're new to day trading and want to learn more on the benefits of trading the markets, visit DayTradeToWin.com, join the next mentorship class starting later this month, and subscribe to the DayTradeToWin YouTube channel. We focus on price action and work exclusively with new and beginner traders who want to learn more on how to prosper from trading.